All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be following up on our previous podcast episode. We were looking at how you would look to progress your strength training, especially around a running program. The previous episode, we're talking about how you would build out your foundations, working through this kind of GPP block, this general physical preparation, making sure you're building out this strength stability before then expecting your body to then move into being able to produce more power, more speed, more endurance. We looked at how you progress certain exercises, the logic behind that. So make sure to check out the episode before this. But more importantly today, guys, I want to go into a bit more detail around rep schemes, the sets, the weights, the logic that we're following in terms of we want to be thinking, considering, whether it's based on the literature, the research, the decades and decades of obviously weight training philosophies that we're kind of basing a lot of this off, but also off a lot of experience, 15 plus years of actually doing this, what is working well. When you're working with high volume endurance based individuals, run, ride, swim, like when you are looking to kind of manipulate the benefits of your strength training in and around an endurance program, there is an art to it. And we're going to go into that today, but we want to be kind of answering some of those kind of key questions. How much load should I be looking to add, session to session, week to week, month to month? How strong do I need to be? What are we actually working towards? How should I be doing more each session? What should my expectations be? When might I need to decrease the loads, the weights, the reps, etc.? But looking at what these rep schemes would look like from a beginner all the way through to an elite performer, and especially someone who is obviously performing at high volumes of work, who's someone who's putting a lot of running volume into their legs. Like how are we going to continuously progress with our strength training whilst also progressing in our run performance? So let's start right at the beginning. You're working from the ground up, and actually, when we talk about these basics, like we were talking about general physical preparation in our previous episode, and that is literally, guys, is just allowing your body to acclimatize to the stress that you're looking to put into your body through your training. In regards to your strength and conditioning work, we're looking to create adaptation in your muscle tissue. Where? It depends on what your goals are. Is it injury rehabilitation? Is it performance? Is it just maintenance? Like you want to be holistically sound of body, but so that you are less likely to pick up injuries. If you are imbalanced, you have obvious imbalances from previous injuries, you haven't rehabilitated, you've got obvious areas that are lacking enough conditioning, you are likely going to overload those areas, compensate for those areas. And that obviously in itself can bring through these poor biomechanics, etc. And that's obviously where you can increase the likelihood of injury. We are looking to navigate this all the time, prevent this from happening. Right at the beginning of any program, looking to acclimatize your body with some basic GPP, 3 times 5, 3 times 10, 3 sets of 10 repetitions, 3 sets of 15 repetitions, 20 repetitions. Like there is a logic to this because we want it to be very formulaic. You want it to be very easy to remember and you want it to be easy to repeat. Okay. It's all about putting the reps in. Okay. We can, obviously we've got reps in our running and our cycling and our swimming kind of sessions where we're doing intervals, etc. But obviously it resonates even more when you're in doing your gym work or your strength work because you literally are performing sets of reps. And a lot of people will have never seen that written before. 3x10 reps, and then hopefully with some form of recovery. Maybe there's also some direction around the speed of the repetition that you want to be working at, where you're looking to move down into the rep for a count, pause, and then explode out of that rep for a count. There's lots of different ways you can kind of progress your programming, but essentially acclimatizing your body, developing the muscle tissue, allowing your body, your joint structures to understand the loads, the intensities, the ranges of motion that you're working at. So things start very simple, and they should be, right? Because you're trying to, a lot of time, you're trying to train your body to move in ranges of motion that maybe you haven't done ever or not for a long time. People that abuse these rep schemes often get punished. This is where the muscle soreness creeps in. We need to respect the fact that you're putting a new adaptation into a muscle group that isn't dormant, isn't switched off. It's not great language to be throwing around. It's areas that just haven't had like specific work put into it. You can literally find multiple different areas of your body that we could easily put 3 times 10 into 3 sets of 10 reps with a 60-second recovery, and you could probably guarantee that we'll probably get muscle soreness the next day. We just need to find an area that you just simply don't isolate and train enough. As we look to progress this, guys, you're going to progress this naturally into higher volumes of work. Why? Because we are looking to develop the conditioning. We want to, again, we're trying to increase its work capacity. you're looking to then creep those sets and reps up 3 times 12, 3 times 15. Week after week, you're gauging this around a weight that allows you to perform with great competency, with good confidence, with good range of motion. You want relatively good symmetry. Technique does matter, guys, because all the way through your work, like whatever rep scheme we're working with, we are looking for that quality biomechanics. Not perfect. No one's perfect. Everyone's got imbalances. Everyone's got their, everyone moves differently, but that repeatable performance, that movement economy, that movement efficiency, that's what we're obsessing about, whether you want to admit to it or not. When you are thinking about your run mechanics, you're thinking about your cadence, you're thinking about your position of your body, maybe you're working up at the club and you're getting these coaching cues thrown at you, that is all based around improving your mechanics. So going back into your rep schemes, we start at the basics, 3 times 10, 15, 20, you're building that out. Across a 4 to 6 week program, you could see that go from 3 times 8 reps all the way up to 4 times 20 reps. It's just progressing the movement depending on the exercise. The neurological load of an exercise will help define this as well. A compound movement, a squat, a deadlift, a hip hinge, an explosive movement, you want to be making sure that the prescription of work that you're putting that exercise through wants to be of a smallest dose to start with. Why? Complexity, the speed, the amount of muscle that you're using, and that you're moving through big range of motion. There's a complexity that you want to respect. So low reps, low sets, low weight, move well, progress from there. You're building it up, but you're just building it up and by feel. And you never need to worry, you don't need to be rushing this. This is depending on the person's training age, you could take weeks to do this, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. Sometimes if someone's had previous experience, you may spend 2 weeks in this phase before then moving up. Moving up, what are we looking to do? We're looking to move this to change these rep schemes now. We're trying to move into more of a maximal strength, maximal power kind of based block where we're starting to manipulate the reps. Sets of higher sets. But again, you could be working to 3 sets to 4 sets. But certainly you're starting to now manipulate the loads. Previously, you're working with a load, a weight that allows you to perform with good confidence, with good range of motion, good symmetry, good technique, tick, tick, tick. As you move into these more maximal strength numbers now, we drop the reps. Why? Because the loads are increasing. We want to elicit, we want to create even more adaptation in your muscle tissue, your tendons, your ligaments. We want to place more force. We want to force your body to work under more fatigue. We put more load on the bar or in your hands. We are trying to put higher percentages of body weight, 25, 50% of your body weight. So if you weigh 80 kilos, 40 kilos we're kind of aspiring to. Why? 50% of your body weight. Is that in dumbbells, kettlebells? Is that barbells? Is it on a machine? We're just trying to put more load into the body, but we are respecting the process by dropping the reps, increasing the sets, 4 sets of 5, 4 sets of 6, 4 sets of 8. You're progressively working up that ladder. The science, the literature will always has for decades pointed to the fact that to create this type of maximal strength, the sweet spot is between 5 to 8 reps. Why? Numerous different reasons, but essentially that is a repeatable rep range that allows us to put maximal intensities through the muscle tissue, through the tendons and ligaments and then be able to repeat that for high, 3 to 4 sets, and then turn up and do it again and then again and again. Change takes time, and people can feel like they want to rush it. And people bastardize these rep schemes and just add reps for fun. And this is where people are overloading and breaking their bodies down very quickly. There's a logical progression to all of this that if not respected, you're going to break yourself. It's just like you would if you're up at the track and you're not respecting the amount of work you're putting into your body. We have this logical progression that we're following, and we are basing it off the intensity that you're placing through your own body. Are you still able to hold good technique, good range of motion, good stability, good symmetry? Like, you're obsessing about this because you're going to translate that into those final interval efforts up on the track, the second half of your trail race where your body is breaking down. There is fatigue, stress, strain on the body. You are looking to mimic those stresses within your S&C work, within those 4 sets of 5 reps. If we want to chase down more maximal strength, we start to manipulate other rep schemes and reset schemes, 5x5, where you're doing 5 sets of 5 reps at a higher percentage of your 1 rep max. You get to a place where you're so conditioned now that we can actually test 1 rep max, 2 rep max, 3 rep max. SFE, we most of the time we program our max lifting around 3 to 5 rep max, because we're always looking to balance that risk versus reward. A lot of our individuals don't strength train enough. They do it 2 or 3 times a week alongside their other programming to not warrant their ability. They don't have enough training experience to be able to lift or work to those 1RMs, to establish those 1RMs. There's a risk to doing that. So we bring it back to 3 to 5 rep max. We establish the highest working range that they can work to at that rep scheme. And then we can extrapolate that number to a perceived 1RM. From this number though, guys, we can then work at these higher percentages of your working weight with all those other things in place, good range of motion, good symmetry, good technique. But we're working for 5 times 5 reps, 5 sets, 5 reps, working maximally. You can progress through a whole training block challenging that exact rep scheme. There's other modalities out there like 5-3-1, the Wendler, but this is all based around weightlifting, right? And so again, we're in the endurance space. We're manipulating some of the literature, some of the great ways of developing muscle tissue, maximal strength. But as a caveat, we're placing an obscene a lot more training load on that individual's body. So when we're doing this person has to have a level of training experience, a tolerance, a level of conditioning in their body that we want to be building out so that they are well conditioned to absorb this type of work alongside this amount of training load elsewhere in their running, etc. Fueling, hydration, nutrition, recovery all becomes absolute paramount when you start to load and place this type of training on top of our body. But this is this fabled hybrid training that people are kind of have become part of the industry. But this is just good strength for endurance training. This is just building a body that could tolerate high forces, high amounts of work for endurance-based activity. This is how we progress someone all the way through. How much load is based upon your levels of experience. When do you decrease this load? Whereas we are deloading you every 4 to 6 weeks. Why? Because we need to give your body adequate time to adapt to all the training. You cannot just keep expecting your body to move in an upwards trajectory. We have to give our bodies time to deload, to replenish, to repair, to recover. Tearing all that muscle tissue down, depleting your glycogen stores, all of this needs time to happen. If you don't have adequate deload, tapers within your training program, you're never going to see the benefits of your program. You're probably going to be working in a deficit a lot of the time. Take time off, come back in. That deload is probably working at 50% of your normal weights, your normal reps, normal sets. Maybe strip back the rest and weights. But essentially, you're just giving yourself time to adapt. This whole thing progresses and regresses all the time, depending on what phase of training you're in, what events you're navigating this around. Are we tapering for an event? Have you picked up an injury? We need to strip you back down to this kind of GPP, build up your body again. That is what injury rehabilitation looks like. Like you're building that body back with that 3x5, 3x10, 3x15, building it up to that strength range again, where you're looking at 4x5, 4x8. We are looking at all of this. Guys, with all of this is an individualized process, right? We're working with the individual that you're working in front of, but this progression is what we call progressive overload. You're looking to get more out of the body by developing the rep schemes. Thought to finish with, polarizing thought. Why don't we work to odd numbers? What is the reason? And there isn't a reason. There's no scientific literature that says why don't we work to reps of 7, reps of 9, reps of 13. Apart from the fact that ultimately there is we all seek out a perceived sense of balance and symmetry. There is a fear of odd numbers. But also there's an uneven distribution. So for those of you thinking, why don't we work to these odd numbers? There is no scientific literature that says you can't. But it's just this, again, the mindset that we all kind of like to sit in, where we like things to kind of balance out, equal out. So, but team, anything that you want to understand more about, just thought I'd give you my 2 cents on what those rep schemes look like. It's always an individualized process. But again, guys, the art of it is in the coaching, and we'd love to always speak to you always. Let us know your thoughts. Speak soon.